Hello everyone and welcome back to the Where in the World series here on the Go Westeros YouTube channel. In this episode, just like we did last time, we'll be looking at 3 minor houses from Westeros, what they've been up to, where in the world they are, and how they pertain to the overall story as it's being told. In the last episode, we looked at houses Flint of Widow's Watch, Hunter and Smallwood, and this week we'll be looking at House Goodbrook of the Vale, House Crane of the Reach, and House Velaryon of the Crownlands. At this point, I should mention that this does contain spoilers for all 5 novels of A Song of Ice and Fire, so if you're not up to date, I wouldn't continue on much further. Wow, I messed that one up. I'm your host, Jack, and let's dive right into it. House Goodbrook is a noble house from the Riverlands. Their words are unknown, as is their keep, but according to semi-canonical sources, their sigil is a blue wavy bend on a field of gold. Not much is known of the Goodbrooks in general, but known members throughout A Song of Ice and Fire include Lord Lyman Goodbrook, a young lord who is noted to likely be the son of the Lord Goodbrook that supported the Targaryens in Robert's Rebellion. An unknown relation to the house is Sir Gas Goodbrook, who married Kyra Frey, and the father of Walder Goodbrook and Jane Goodbrook. In history, as mentioned, House Goodbrook were one of the Riverland houses that remained loyal to the Targaryens instead of following their liege lords, the Tullys of Riverrun. For this, Lord Hoster Tully descended upon the Goodbrook village and burns it. Following the war, the Lord Goodbrook's son, now Lord Lyman, makes peace with Lord Hoster and King Robert, but the wealth of the Goodbrooks has been substantially reduced from all the fighting. We're introduced to House Goodbrook in Book 3, A Storm of Swords. Travelling with the Brotherhood without banners, Arya Stark visits a village that was Lord Goodbrook's. Notch explains to her the situation with the Targaryens in the war. Elsewhere in the March of the Twins for his own wedding, Ed Tully enjoys the company of Mark Piper, Lord Lyman Goodbrook and Patrick Mallister, as well as the young Vances. Lord Lyman is fortunately not killed during the Red Wedding, and while he is killing men in the camps around the twins, his kin, Sir Gas Goodbrook, is slain by Sir Sandor Clegane, not Sir Sandor Clegane, he's not a knight, but you know who I mean, the Hound. In A Feast for Crows, Sir Jaime Lannister sees the Goodbrook banner besieging Riverrun under the command of his kin, Darren Lannister. This indicates that either Lord Lyman bent his knee to the Lannisters and the Iron Throne, or that he remains a hostage following the Red Wedding, and his kin and men-at-arms are now forced to fight for the crown. House Crane of Redlake is a noble house from the Reach. It is one of the principal sworn houses to the Tyrells of Highgarden. They blazon their shields with a V of golden crane birds on a pale blue field. Their words are unknown. Their castle of Redlake is located on the northeastern shore of a lake of the same name in the northwest of the Reach. It is northwest of Old Oak and southeast of Cornfield. Known members of House Crane throughout A Song of Ice and Fire include Sir Vortimer Crane, who is the Master-at-Arms at Highgarden, the capital of the Reach. Other kin of unknown relations include Sir Parman the Purple, Lady Melara, who is the wife of Lord Alistair Florent, Sir Richard Crane, the husband of Rylene Florent, and Meredith Crane, a lady attendant of Marjorie Tyrell. According to legend, the house was founded by a daughter of Garth Greenhand, the legendary figure. That daughter was called Rose of Redlake. It is rumoured that some females of House Crane are able to skin change into cranes, and with some of the magic we know about in this world, it's entirely possible. The Cranes of Redlake joined the Kingdom of the Reach through pacts of friendship and mutual defence with King Garth Gardner III. We're introduced to House Crane in A Clash of Kings, Book 2. Their banners are seen beneath the walls of Bitterbridge. In Renly Baratheon's encampment, of course, Sir Parman Crane, also known as Parman the Purple, is a member of King Renly Baratheon's Rainbow Guard, his version of the King's Guard. After Renly's death, Parman joins Stannis' cause. His new king sends him to Bitterbridge with Sir Aaron Florent to retrieve Renly's foot soldiers. In A Storm of Swords, after being captured at Bitterbridge, Sir Parman is imprisoned at Highgarden. Elsewhere, in King's Landing, Meredith Crane amuses Sansa Stark with amusing stories. After Sansa marries Tyrion Lannister, Merry as she is known as, dances with Jalabar Zo, the exiled Prince of the Summer Isles, in court at King's Landing. And to close out their involvement so far in A Song of Ice and Fire, it is said that Merry Crane hawks and picks flowers in the Kingswood as part of Queen Marjorie Tyrell's retinue. The old, the true, the brave are the words of House Velaryon in the Crownlands. They rule the island of Driftmark, which is the largest island in Blackwater Bay. They have two castles, one called Driftmark and the other called High Tide. The head of House Velaryon is titled Lord of the Tides and Master of Driftmark. Their sigil is a white fantastical seahorse on a pale blue field. The castle of High Tide is noted to have multiple towers, and the other, Driftmark, is their ancestral seat. Known members of House Velaryon throughout A Song of Ice and Fire include Lord Montford, the Lord of the Tides and the Master of Driftmark, his son and heir, Monterus, a young boy. There is also Orain Waters, the Bastard of Driftmark, who was Lord Montford's bastard brother. House Velaryon, much like the Targaryens, have the blood of old Valyria in their veins. They were closely allied with the Targaryens before they came to Dragonstone. Again, like the Targaryens, they often have Valyrian features of silver hair and purple eyes. They actually travelled to Westeros before the Targaryens and settled on the island of Driftmark, and they claim that they received their Driftwood throne from the Merling King to conclude a pact. They got their wealth through gaining monopoly over the passing trade, and their ships dominate the middle reaches of the Narrow Sea, whilst the Targaryens ruled the skies with their dragons. There is a fair amount of famous Velaryons throughout history, one being the mother of Aegon the Conqueror himself, Valyna Velaryon. Daemon Velaryon became Aegon's master of ships, and the first ever Lord Commander of the Kingsguard was Sir Corlys Velaryon, another famous Velaryon. They have married into the royal family many times over. Among the most famous of Velaryons was another Lord Corlys Velaryon, also called the Sea Snake, whose fame came from his many voyages across the seas of the world. So there are two Corlys Velaryons. The wealth of the Sea Snake accumulated made House Velaryon the richest in the realm, and even more so than the Lannisters or the Hightowers. It was said that the Sea Snake, who has High Tide constructed because their ancestral seat of Driftmark became damp and overcrowded. In the Civil War, known as the Dance of the Dragons, they were major supporters of the Blacks against the Greens, as they had family ties with them. Dragon Riders from House Velaryon, yeah, that's right, Dragon Riders, who have the Targaryen blood in them, include Jacaerys, Lucerys, and Joffrey Velaryon, I say Baratheon then, who were the sons of Laenor Velaryon, the husband of Rhaenyra Targaryen. They were an integral part of the Civil War, and I won't continue on the history of the house. You can read about them in the World of Ice and Fire book, or check out the Wikipedia. It's quite extensive and is well worth a read. We move on to the main focus of the episode and how House Velaryon are involved in the Song of Ice and Fire. We're introduced to the Velaryons in A Clash of Kings. Lord Montford answers Stannis' summons when he crowns himself king and calls his banners. Stannis has Davos Seaworth sup with his lords, including Montford, whom he expects to threaten to take his levies home unless they attack at once. The Velaryon contribution to Stannis' fleet include the Pride of Driftmark and her three sister ships named Bold Laughter, Harridan and Seahorse. When Stannis makes public accusations of King Joffrey being born of incest, Lord Montford states that only steel will decide the matter. When Stannis besieges Storm's End during the War of the Five Kings, Lord Velaryon urges him to storm the castle walls as soon as possible. Later, unfortunately, at the Battle of Blackwater, Lord Montford burns with his ship, the Pride of Driftmark. However, before sinking, the ship manages to take down two Lannister ships. So it's pretty good. Orain Waters, Lord Montford's bastard brother, is made prisoner during the battle and surrenders to King Joffrey. In A Storm of Swords, it's noted that Montfort is succeeded by his 6-year-old son, Monterus Velaryon. Despite Stannis' crushing defeat at the Blackwater, the Velaryons are still counted amongst his supporters. Jon Snow even sees their banners during the attack by Stannis on the Wildling camp north of the Wall. In A Feast of Crows, Oraine Waters reminds Cersei of Prince Rhaegar Targaryen when she meets him at the Red Keep. Due to the old Valyrian blood in him, he has Rhaegar's features. She names Oraine the new master of ships, despite his youth and Sir Jaime Lannister's objections. In that position, Oraine proposes the construction of dromons and suggests to crew them with thieves and poachers. When Queen Cersei is imprisoned by the Faith, Oraine Waters flees to sea and disappears. Grand Maester Pycelle believes that Oraine has the idea to set himself up as a pirate in the Stepstones, and that is all we know of House Velaryon. They're one of my favourite houses, actually. I really like the history, and I really look forward to hearing about what Oraine has been up to and any possible future Velaryon members. And as we wrap up on House Velaryon, we wrap up on this episode of Where in the World. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found at least some of what I said helpful in your quest to gain as much knowledge as possible. Remember to find me on Twitter at GoWesteros. Drop me a comment, a tweet, some advice, some criticism, or just say hello. I've been Jack, your host, and I'll see you all very soon.